Hare Krishna. So this is Light of Bhagavad, text 8, meditation 8 today. The colorful greenery of the newly grown grass, the seasonal flowers, the frogs' umbrellas, the butterflies, and the other variegatedness of the rainy season perfectly represents a well-to-do family absorbed in vanity over their personal assets. But a rich man displays his opulence in various colorful ways. He has a good residential bungalow with sufficient property and a well-trimmed garden. The bungalow is decorated with up-to-date furniture and carpets. There are motor cars with dazzling polish and a radio set receiving and broadcasting colorful news and melodious songs. All these captivate their proprietor as though he were in a dreamland of his own creation. When the same man was as dry as fallow land and had none of these opulences, he was plain in behavior, but since obtaining all these material means of enjoyment, he has forgotten this principle that everything in the world comes and goes away like the changing seasons. The beautiful red fort and Taj Mahal were built by Shah Jahan, who left the place long ago, and many others have also come and gone in the same place like seasonal flowers. Material assets are like the seasonal flowers only. Either the flowers wither or the gardener himself leaves. That is a law of nature. Therefore, if we want permanent life, knowledge, and bliss, we must seek them somewhere else, not in the changeable, temporary, rainy season. Yes. Which is flooded with so many varieties of pleasing sights that vanish when the season ends. Material manifestations of things are but shadowy representations of reality. They are compared to mirages in the desert. In the desert, there is no water, but the foolish deer runs after illusory water in the desert to quench his thirsty heart. Water is not unreal, but the place where we seek it is misleading. The advancement of materialistic civilization is just like a mirage in the desert. The deer runs after water in the desert with full speed, and the illusion of the water moves ahead at the same speed as the foolish deer. Water is not false, but we must not seek it in the desert. A living entity, by his past experience, remembers the real happiness of his original spiritual existence. But since he has forgotten himself, We seek spiritual or permanent happiness in matter, although this is impossible to achieve. The colorful greenery of the newly grown grass, the seasonal flowers, the frogs' umbrellas, the butterflies, and the other variegated of the rain season perfectly represent the well-to-do family absorbed in vanity over their personal assets. The variegatedness of material opulence is not worth hooking our consciousness. Srila Prabhupada is thrusting on the point that this material opulence is seasonal. Because it is seasonal, it will come and go. It won't sustain. So therefore, if one is very much elated about the symptoms and the offerings of rainy season or spring season, to that degree, one will be frustrated in the autumn. You see that material nature is very expert in portraying a very colorful picture. In fact, modern day world also, you see, uh, the technology, people just want to, so the technological advancement is simply reduced to okay, how to uh, add on, how to present a more and more colorful picture. So this color serves to captivate our consciousness. This color doesn't serve to satisfy our heart, but rather to captivate our consciousness. And therefore, the mind is gets hooked. Yesterday, Vrindavan Prabhu was explaining how once a donor had invited Radhanath Maharaj to his home, and he was showing each and every place so meticulously. And amongst the and one of the key highlights which he wanted to show was his toilet, because his toilet was built with Italian marble. And he was showing with great delight and absorption, as this is as if it is a shrine. A toilet with the Italian marble. I also remember one time we had gone to a donor program, went to the washroom. 8 devotees can sleep in that washroom. It was like half of a temple hall. Yeah, it was like half of a temple hall. It was and it was so sleek. It was so sleek. We're feeling afraid to pass water, because it was so sleek. It was like everything you can see your face everywhere. You can see your face from the granite, from the basin, the body of the basin, from everywhere, from the walls. It was so elegant. So the result of such kind of thing is what? The result of such kind of endeavor is a person gets completely captivated. So much so that his or her mind it does not go beyond it. Srila Prabhupada, there are incidents about such incidents. There are similar incidents with Srila Prabhupada. People would show Srila Prabhupada their house. And Srila Prabhupada would say is that, and they would be introducing this, that, and this is my wife, this is my children, one, two, three, four, five, whatever, and so on and so forth. And Papa would come back and Papa would say, all this gentleman was saying was, this is my sex life. See, this is my sex life. One, two, three, four, five. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada went to USA and he was seeing all these big buildings. And Prabhupada was saying that this is all simply a display of the people's sex life. That's all. And they just want to portray and display, see how great I am and how great is my sex life. It was as cheap and as hollow and as shallow as that. Another case Vrindavan Post citing was the devotees case. And he had made his house, which was featured in some eco space magazine on the cover page. And it was made with all eco-friendly techniques and all that. And he was so meticulously explaining about each and every artifact. This pillar here, this brick here, this is 200, 400 years old sword. So Radha Maharaj just commented, this is not eco-friendly. No more eco-friendly. It is ego-friendly. This home has become ego-friendly. So, when Srila Prabhupada is explaining that a rich man is very much captivated by his opulence, his car, his garden, the well-trimmed garden, the car, and the hall, and very much captivated, intoxicated, hooked. Then the consciousness cannot go beyond that. So, simply by adding colors, the basic premise is there are many intrinsic things which one becomes blind to. The first is it is seasonal. It won't stay for long. Seasonal. And the second point is that you see, just adding colors, one cannot. There is no correlation between a colorful scenery and satisfaction of the heart, experience of meaning and fulfillment. Just like say, for example, this toilet which sometimes rich people have, a very elegant toilet with gold-plated fittings and so on. So by making the toilet no, so opulent, the toilet does not get converted into a temple hall. Toilet remains toilet. Toilet does not become a temple hall. And what is happening is we make the toilet so elegant, the attachment goes to the toilet. So one would like to spend more time in the toilet than in the temple hall. Like that. So such a shabby. Now attachment is meant to be developed for the toilet or the temple of the Lord, or the temple hall of the Lord. So what should be opulent? The temple hall. So people try to make their own homes super opulent, and then they just want to stay there itself for all time. But in the home, there is no much spiritual substance. There is no much spiritual vibration. There is no much fervor, enthusiasm, spiritual. So therefore, the so attachment to the home in that way does not serve the purpose of the goal of life. That is why Shastras recommend simple living. I think person can think high only if one is not attached to one's own living around. Because if one gets attached to one's own living around, then that blocks person's vision. So when there is simple living, there is no much attachment to the things around. That becomes a perfect setting for high thinking. One can be attached to higher thinking. Because otherwise one is just thinking about the home. How do I bring in more and more colors? Or how do I enjoy this color, that color? And there is another problem there. It's like sometimes people go to a hotel. Now a hotel, there may be a suite room. Suite room. There are washtubs. Uh, there is glass, bathroom. There are there's a very nice this thing. There's a very nice environment there. From outside, you can have view of the ocean. And the balcony. You come out of the room. There's swimming pool. You chill out. And there's greenery. There are parks. You can sit around. The person feels very nice. So person feels very nice. Now, now that is so captivating and so attractive. Now what will happen? Uh, so suppose the person is super captivated and attracted. Now the person will say, okay, I want to continue staying here only. So what is the problem associated with that? Oh, it is 10 times costly. Yes. So one will land up. It is 10 times costly. It is 10 times costly. So therefore, actually, the so now what happens is this is where the property comes that okay, all these facets are seasonal. Seasonal means they come and go away. But a person is very attached to it, the person is trying to maintain. And because the person try to maintain, he will end up investing so much money in that. That's the point. So much money. And then to get money, one has to work hard. So this is like an addiction in which a person may get completely lost with one small detail, which nobody but the person only knows. And nobody with the only person who has created it bothers to know. So this is the thing. That sometimes when people are showing their home, they are speaking about such details which nobody is interested in hearing. And then one wants to add more and more details, add more and more details. In this way, a person is completely lost. There is no space in the consciousness for Krishna. There is no space in the consciousness for the mission of the Lord. Because the entire consciousness is absorbed in that small precision of detail. And a person is lost into it. Just like we had gone to Puri. So there the Stapati was explaining that he was making some carvings. There was one Krishna carving. He said this carving will take 7 years. 7 years to make. 7 years to make carving of Krishna. It was a wooden carving. But so much detail, intricate. And therefore that the staff who was working on it, that staff will take 7 years to carve it completely with that level of precision and perfection. So it will come out to be very articulate. But the point is, what do they use? But the point is, what do they use? 7 years to create a carving of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada has given us holy name. As soon as we chant, there is Krishna in our hearts. 7 years to get darshan of Krishna. Come on, is it not? So mind should be focused on Krishna or the carving. Is it not? So too much meticulous, so much meticulous that probably anybody who will take the darshan will just focus on carving. Is it not? Although it's a portrait of Krishna, it can serve to make people Krishna unconscious. Portrait of Krishna serving the purpose of making people unconscious of Krishna. Can you imagine? This is material world. So look at the material world. In that sense, how nasty is this material world? And that is why one needs to focus on the core limbs of bhakti very diligently. So sometimes so sometimes so there is always this proclivity of getting lost into these details. It's like even in kirtans, sometimes some kirtaniya they are lost into the details of alankar and meter and up or down, left, right, something is happening. They're very much lost in the detail. So much so that there is no time to think about that, okay, I am chanting to take shelter of it. Because there's so much lost into meter. So the point is that suppose a kirtan is filled with a lot of these colors of meter, alankar, and this and that. People will be attracted, but they won't get a transformation of heart. Because the person who's singing is so much lost into meter and various other alankars of kirtan that he is not remembering Krishna only. He is not remembering Krishna only. This is the problem with details. Similarly, sometimes some people get lost into fancy linguistics. How to speak something in a very fancy manner, linguistically very fancy, into words and metaphors and similes. So on. So although the speech may be very articulate, but there is no substance in it. Because the person is lost in externals. So therefore, sometimes devotees think that to preach we need this, we need that, we need this technology, that technology. We only need dedication to the spiritual mission. That's all. Sometimes some devotees keep reading this book, that book, that book, this management book, that management book by so many hundreds of authors outside of devotees. So the problem in that is the consciousness is so with so much external subject matters. And where is the consciousness taking shelter of Krishna? And when that consciousness is not taking shelter of Krishna, when this consciousness is reflected in one's words, how are people going to be hit and affected positively? They will be impressed. Wow. But where is the transformation in one's own heart and the hearts of others? So these are all like the colors of the rainy season. And one has to be very careful. But okay, our maximum sadhana intake should be from proper books, from proper lectures, from Guru's lectures, and not fancy things. Because these fancy things will act to sap away the entire human energy of the living and not allow him or her to serve Krishna, not allow him or her to serve Krishna. So therefore we have to understand the core is to keep the external simple and focus on the holy name, the Krishna Katha, the preaching, the mission. So therefore, these colors one should understand to be seasonable and therefore not worthy of giving importance. So this is what the Lord is explaining when the Lord is saying Prakriti sthane karshati. What are they living in? Why is the living entity struggling in this world? But the basic things are quite easily available. But the living entity is not no, satisfied with the basic. It wants more and more colors. And they are seasonal, they don't sustain. And therefore, to refill it, a lot of endeavors Prakriti sthane karshati. Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimula. Why the living entity is boxing with mental energy? Because mental energy is showing a movie, the rainy season very colorful. Now mental energy changes the scene. He says, okay, now it's over. I said, no, how it is over? I cannot tolerate it to be over. But I say, no, this is the law, and it's over. It will come again sometime. You chant Hare Krishna in that time. And the living entity very attached. He's saying, no, how is it possible? I'll create an artificial green. So he tries to create artificial colors to make it up, to fill it up. Maya Sukhaya Bharamudvaha. The entire world is bewildered because of this. So that is why we need to simplify our lifestyle. Simplification means the decision that I am not going to be enamored and allured by the, the seasonal colorful display of the artifacts and things of this world. So let's stop here for today. Granth Raj and